Embarking on an odyssey through the intricate corridors of America's justice system, a chilling saga unfurls, a narrative that transcends individual suffering, resonating as a stark testament to the betrayal of civil rights by those sworn to protect them. As I inscribe this chronicle, I extend an invitation to traverse the labyrinth of corruption, which has insidiously entwined the 11th Judicial Circuit Court of Florida, the 1st District Court of Appeal, and the 3rd District Court of Appeal. In the elaborate tapestry of our legal institutions, a harrowing saga unfolds, not merely a litany of personal grievances but a resonant call to arms against the erosion of democratic principles. As this narrative unfurls, let us delve into the shadows that obscure the hallowed halls of justice, revealing the insidious corruption that threatens the core of our democracy. The genesis of this disheartening saga can be traced back to December 17, 2018, a date etched in the annals of an email exchange that served as the initial fissure in the seemingly impervious wall of justice. It was in this correspondence that the shocking revelation tumbled forth from the pen of former attorney Renita Henry, confessing to a deliberate omission of crucial information. The tremors of this admission reverberated through the system, foretelling a tale of deception and betrayal. In my unwavering pursuit of justice, I confronted Renita Henry, only to be met with an unyielding defiance that cast shadows over the very ideals our justice system was built upon. Her abrupt withdrawal from the case on January 8, 2019, marked the inception of a dark narrative, leaving behind a lingering trail of deception that would come to haunt the corridors of justice. As the wheels of litigation turned, General Magistrate Deborah Nobbett Frankel presided over a temporary hearing on January 28, 2019. In a move that would later reveal itself as a calculated choice, she chose to exclude the damning information, offering assurances of its temporary nature. Little did I grasp the gravity of this moment. A mere prelude to an unfolding tragedy, a miscarriage of justice that would grip the proceedings in its vice-like hold. The crescendo of anticipation reached its peak on April 29, 2019, as I approached the final hearing with a glimmer of hope for justice. However, that hope was mercilessly crushed under the gavel of Judge Scott Bernstein. With a refusal to acknowledge the glaring omissions that tainted the proceedings, he callously suggested I embark on the arduous journey of filing an appeal against his verdict. The courtroom, once a beacon of fairness, now echoed with the cold dismissal of justice. The ominous orchestration continued its discordant melody on August 6, 2020, a day etched in infamy. Judge David C. Miller, having just dismissed my lawsuit against Renita Henry, abruptly recused himself mere minutes later. This swift maneuver, a disconcerting dance of power and intrigue, signaled that corruption had entrenched itself deeply within the chambers of justice. The scales of fairness were unbalanced, and the very foundation of the legal system trembled under the weight of betrayal. On the fateful date of May 4, 2023, the narrative of my legal odyssey plunged into an even deeper abyss. General Magistrate Gina Mendez-Locke, fully cognizant of the glaring omissions, callously executed yet another recommended order. The ink of betrayal dried on the document, and the echoes of injustice reverberated within the court's hallowed chambers. Adding to the disconcerting symphony of corruption, Judge Samantha Ruiz Cohen, seemingly untouched by the gravity of the situation, threw her weight behind this audacious defiance of justice. It was a disheartening moment as the very custodians of the legal realm, meant to protect the sanctity of truth, chose to dance with corruption. In my desperate quest for fairness, I invoked the sacred tenets of justice, filing pleas for recusal and a change of venue, seeking a breath of fairness in a courtroom tainted by malfeasance. However, my cries for justice were met with an unyielding silence as Judge Cohen, unmoved, continued to preside over my case. The shackles of corruption tightened, and I found myself ensnared in a labyrinth where justice seemed like a distant mirage. In the safeguarding embrace of our Constitution, the sanctity of democracy rests on the pillars of due process, a harmonious accord of notice, the right to be heard, and an impartial tribunal. However, my journey through the corridors of justice unveils a distressing reality. These foundational rights, designed to fortify the democratic edifice, lay trampled in the wake of a system tainted by corruption. The very heart of our democratic principles stands besieged, imploring a resolute call for introspection and reform. In the annals of justice, a fateful admission 5 years ago by Renita Henry marked the genesis of a malevolent tale, a narrative woven with the threads of deception. The ethical moorings that should have guided her actions were discarded with impunity, and shockingly, the Florida bar itself endorsed this grievous transgression. As the echoes of Renita Henry's admission reverberated, figures of authority, including General Magistrates Frankel and Locke, and Judges Bernstein and Cohen, custodians of justice's sacred flame, willfully turned a blind eye to the omitted salary deductions. This collusion birthed an era of betrayal that transcended state boundaries, casting its ominous shadow even upon the hallowed halls of Delaware Chancery Court. The tapestry of justice, once woven with the threads of integrity, now bears the stains of a pervasive corruption that imperils the very foundation of our legal system. Amidst the labyrinth of pervasive corruption, an urgent cry reverberates, a plea for justice that transcends the boundaries of betrayal. The protagonists in this sordid saga, Renita Henry, Emily Joyce Phillips, Amelia Lynn Warkle, Christopher Johnson, Deborah Nobbit Frankel, Gina Mendez-Locke, Scott Bernstein, and Samantha Ruiz Cohen, stand accused. The tapestry of our legal system, once pristine, now bears scars that demand accountability. It is incumbent upon us, the torchbearers of justice, to demand reform, stitch the torn fabric, and resurrect faith in the very essence of our judicial foundation. In the crucible of the American justice system, my journey unfolds as a United States Navy veteran, a poignant testament to the very government I pledge to defend. The noble guise of the Title IVD child support program, ostensibly crafted to shield children, has instead transmuted into an instrument of injustice. Stripped of my driving privileges, burdened with spurious child support arrears, and denied rightful tax refunds, I, a guardian of liberty, find myself defenseless against a system veiled in deception and designed to defraud those who once safeguarded the principles of freedom. In the annals of the 11th Judicial Circuit Court of Florida, the 1st District Court of Appeal, the 3rd District Court of Appeal, and the Florida Department of Revenue, a harrowing chronicle of violations emerges, laying bare the festering wounds of corruption. Attorneys, magistrates, and judges, once entrusted with upholding the sanctity of justice, now stand accused of conspiring to dismantle the very foundations of democracy. It falls upon our collective shoulders to cast a relentless beam into this abyss, to demand unwavering accountability, and to embark on the arduous task of reconstructing the pillars of justice. This narrative transcends mere storytelling. It stands as a resounding testament to the imperative call for reform, echoing across the hallowed halls of our democracy and resonating for the preservation of civil rights in the United States.